Okay, 3 episodes into Owl House Season 2, and we've learned about the new best ship, Amity's mom is a MILF, and a king isn't full of shit. This hasn't been the kick down the door kind of season I wanted, but it's definitely building up to something great. Alright, let's keep this quickie brief by talking about escaping expulsions. And the new star of this show, Alador Blight. Amity's dad, who probably took his wife's last name.
Alador!
I love this man so much. He's a fat dork who just wants to look at weird stuff all day. He's still secretly pushing Amity to be great, but compared to his wife, who I couldn't stop hearing Haley Smith from American Dad, Alador isn't petty. So immediately knocked him up a couple of points for me. The rest of the episode is good though. The story of Ida and Lilith dabbling into glyphs was a great way to warm us up to Lil, while also giving us more insight into how glyphs work, with Luce finally clarifying that while there are standardized glyphs, she edits them to create different effects, which was something that I was questioning last season. And with there apparently being only 4 base glyphs all the other spells are going to be made out of, this whole magic system is basically that one alchemy app no one remembers. The main story wasn't great though. Good, but not great. For as much hype as I had for the Blights, Amity standing up to him in the same episode they're introduced felt just a bit anticlimactic. It's great to see Amity finally reject them and doing her own thing.
Hey! Stay away from my loot!
Which was exactly how I wanted that story to go. I was just a little surprised we got it so soon. Hopefully this means that Amity will become part of the friend group, because as it is, it does kind of feel like we have our core 3, then Amity is just Luce's friend, but I'm hoping we get her in, because this group needs just a little bit more interaction together. The principal actually crying over the kids getting kicked out was great. The man is lovable and he is one of my favorite side characters. Still a bit unsure of how tech works in this universe. Like, we see Bella use tech to control magic, but the Blights seem to use it to enhance existing spells and creations. Like, I just have questions, but I'm sure it's going to be explained in time. And this was a solid episode. It felt a little fast in how it handled the Blights, but there's always more time for unhealthy family drama later. On to the King episode.
Hootie knows what to do. You sure they'll be alright?
Now, something that you need to understand about me is that I don't like King. I don't hate King, I just don't like him. I have never watched a scene and thought, this is good, but it'd be better if King were here. His King of Demons shit got old to me almost immediately, and I kinda wish Hootie and King were just the same character. That said, this episode did a lot to make me at least interested in King's backstory. As after Lilith and Hootie call King for being full of shit, and Luce is too busy treating him like a Pokemon to think about how this delusion isn't the healthiest behavior to encourage, they journey to King's Island, where we get reveals, attacks, and most importantly, lore murals. King has a breakdown, but then calms down when he finds out he's actually still Prince. I think of the 2 episodes, I enjoyed this one the most, because on top of having moments of strangely detailed animation, King's arc throughout this episode had me the most invested. The little guy has a genuine identity crisis where he needs his friends to help him get out of it. The mystery of what this place is and King's origins just really got me interested. Lilith and Luce are asking the same questions that I was asking, like what is this place, how old is it, who is King's dad? And having a mystery that you work out with the characters is always one of the best experiences when watching TV. Because watching 20 minutes of characters trying to figure out an obvious mystery that you already know the answer to kills me. Or even worse, have a mystery that no one seems interested in figuring out. This, though, was perfect. It was just the right amount of interest and just the right amount of answers, and leaving us plenty of room to theory craft and come up with our own ideas. Hootie also being able to join the mission was a surprise.
Porta Hootie! Reporting for Hootie!
Don't know how that works, but okay. We also get to see the older witches utilize what they learned last episode here, with Lilith's obsession over glyphing allowing her to use them, while Ida still relies on her potion making skills, as she still hasn't gotten the pen and paper version down yet. It's a subtle progression, but one that Owl House excels at. The stone monster is also pretty cool. I love how this show, for some reason, just gets that free pass for showing flesh and muscles, when usually network kids shows stay far away from that territory. And I think that's a big reason why I think the designs of the Boiling Owls are just so good. Overall, I thought these were both 2 very satisfying episodes of the Owl House, and they left me hungry for more. Like, I'm not totally sold on this season yet. I think it's definitely ramping up a lot better than the first one did. I'm just still waiting for that wow moment to be like, shit, I need that next episode. I'm like, that was good. The next one can come out when it comes out. Like, we still have some mysteries, like who's the other monster that King's dad was fighting, or the underground army of stone golems that are waiting in the basement. Like, my main idea that I came up with was that I don't think King's dad is the Boiling Isles. I don't think that's him that everyone's built this whole society on. Like, it could be that giant monster that King's dad was fighting, or it could be something completely different. We have two separate giant figures, with the heart in Belos' chamber actually being the monster in the mural, who is tricking Belos into thinking that it's the Titan. Like, we get a lot of questions, but sadly there's so little time. But thank you all for watching. This has been Sarcastic, of course, and I'll catch you all next week for another video on the Owl House. First, though, I'm doing Boss Baby.
That's all.